Hey everyone, so I want to do a quick introduction of what the Freedom from Cancer, Your Plant-Based Journey course looks like. So when you purchase the course and log in, you'll be brought to this page here, which is the main page, and it's going to start showing you all the different lessons. So in the first section, I call it the why you're here. We talk about the introduction, why you're here. You can dive into more about what you can expect from the course. Then we move on to lesson number 2, which talks about the research of current diet and disease and why our current diet and lifestyle promotes chronic disease and cancer. Furthermore, we're going to move into what and why the plant-based diet. I talk about the difference between the plant-based diet and the vegan diet, plus lots of research about why we want to choose the whole food plant-based diet. The next module goes into something called the problem. In the first lesson, we're going to tackle exactly what inflammation is. Then we're going to move on to what IGF-1 is and how it can actually promote the growth of cancer and how we can actually naturally reduce it within our body. In lesson 3, we're going to talk about dairy. We're going to go into a deep dive about what the research says about why we might want to consider eliminating or reducing dairy consumption. Next, I go into processed and red meat, where we talk about the link between cancer and these foods. We also go into poultry and fish. That's one of the next biggest common questions. Many people are familiar with processed and red meat being not necessarily a healthy thing in the diet, but what about fish? So I dive into the research between the connection of poultry and fish and cancer. Then we dive right into eggs, and of course, sugar. How could we have a cancer course without talking about sugar? And then lastly, within the problem module, alcohol. Now, I don't just talk about what we want to eliminate from our diet or reduce from our diet. We want to talk about the solution. What are things that we should be doing? So then I go into what's called the solution. We're going to take a deep dive into phytochemicals, carbohydrates. What types of carbohydrates do we want to consume? Which ones do we want to avoid or reduce? And then, of course, carbohydrates and vegetables get their own lesson. Vegetables are an important piece of these carbohydrates, and I talk about even further the different types of vegetables we want to include more regularly, and how could we have a plant-based course without talking about protein. So I talk about the risk of high amounts of protein in the diet, specifically animal-based proteins, and how to know that we're getting enough protein. Of course, we're going to talk about that myth of soy, and we're going to take a deeper dive. If you've been attending my Facebook Lives or any of my other social media or email campaigns or anything like that, this course is going to go much, much deeper than anything that I've talked about there, including the soy topic. Then we're going to talk about fats and oils. Where should we be getting our fats from? What about oils and how they relate to the plant-based diet? But of course, we're going to talk about even closer, we're going to talk about minerals, vitamins, and supplements, which ones you should consider, which ones aren't necessarily necessary. And then, of course, we're also going to talk about organic foods. Should I only eat organic? What about the nutrients? We'll take a deep dive into that. Now, we've talked about the reasons why we want to adopt a whole food plant-based diet, the problems with our current diet, the solution, what things do we want to eat? But the next step is how. How do we implement? So I'm going to give you some tips about helping you incorporate the plant-based diet. And then also with the course, you get a free 1-year access to our online meal planning program, which is 100% plant-based and individualized to your needs. So we also made sure we included lots of other additional resources and inspiring resources to help you complete this course. So this is a quick peek at what all the modules look like, but I just want to show you a little bit. If I click onto this, what you'll then see is you're going to see the video related to the lesson, and within each module and lesson, you're going to have downloads. So it's going to have the transcripts and the references. I reference every research article that I discuss. If there's any other additional handouts that I find important, I have them here in the downloads as well. So each lesson includes a video like this, and I'll just play a quick second of it for you. Now that you know what to expect from this course, it is officially time to start getting into all of the information. So as you can see, they're pre-recorded PowerPoint videos. You can stop and play and pause and rewind at your own pace. And as you can see, I go through lots of different things here. And all these little numbers here are footnotes to references that I have, which again, you can find over here in the references. Now, if we want to, you can mark it complete so you know where you've been, and then you can move on to the next lesson. So for example, here in this lesson, the what, why, and the plant-based diet, you can see the transcript, another handout about the whole food plant-based diet overview, and then dining by traffic light. So you get a lot of other handouts that are associated with this course. I'll open this one up so you can see it. It gives you a really great handout about what are the green light foods, which you'll learn about in the course. What are the green light foods to make a foundation of your diet, the yellow light foods, and then of course the red light foods, the ones we want to try to discourage a little bit more. So as you can see, there is a lot in this course. Beyond this particular platform, you also get access, like I mentioned before, to the 1-year meal planning program. And then also you'll have access to 6 weeks within a private Facebook group where I come in weekly and have Facebook Lives where you can ask me any and all of your questions. And these Facebook Lives are determined based on the number of people that are in the course and the best time to have these lives for the most people. The great thing is that the Facebook Live, you can always go back and watch the replay if you're not able to attend live. And here's the other best part about this. The students that have already been in this course will also be within the Wholesome Facebook group for Freedom from Cancer, Your Plant-Based Journey. So we're going to add more and more students. And as this course launches, you'll always have access to the Facebook group and within the course itself. So anytime I make updates to the course with new research, new topics, you get access to all of that for a lifetime as long as the course exists. If you have any questions about the course and want to learn a little bit more, feel free to send me an email at allison@wholesomellc.com. Again, that's allison@wholesomellc.com, and I'd be happy to answer those questions for you. Can't wait to see you on the inside.